From Fox 55 Sports, this is The Locker Room.
We have to feel like, all day like, all night like, all this like.
So with that, we say good evening, everyone. Welcome inside the locker room. Joined as always by my partner in crime, Peter Hood. My name is Justin Prince. And Pete, we started this high school football tournament with over 40 of our local teams vying for a state championship. Only 7 are still left standing as we move on from sectionals to regionals.
Yeah, we got one team each in classes 2A, 3A, 4A, 5A, and 6A. We'll get to them in the next few minutes, but we begin, Prince, in 1A, where we are guaranteed to have at least one team playing in semi-state next week.
Yeah, thank God. The question now is, will that team be Southwood or South Adams? Over the last 2 years, no one in the state of Indiana has a better winning percentage than these two teams coming into tonight. The Starfires and Knights, a combined 23-0 on the season. Stars ranked first in the state. The Knights check in at number 3. Both deserving of a shot at a state title, but only one will get that shot next Friday. Small school football doesn't get much bigger than this. Southwood versus South Adams. It's our game of the week right here in the locker room. Southwood, they're looking to claim their first regional championship since 2002. They went on to a state title that year. Meanwhile, South Adams seeking its first regional crown since 2014. Plenty of highlights in this one. South Adams opened up the scoring. First play from scrimmage, James Arnold goes to the air, finds Aiden Warner downfield, makes a couple of Knights miss. 53 yards later, it's 7-0 Stars. Southwood would respond on the next drive. They elect to go to the air as well. Alex Farr pass finds Carson Rich. What a grab.
With the flag.
Love it.
With the PI.
Able to hang on to the ball over 2 South Adams players. We're all square at 7 after a quarter, and the fireworks just getting started.
Hope you took the over in this one.
Yeah, no kidding. Second quarter tied at 14. Warner once again making the big play downfield. Whoop! Makes a dude miss. The do-it-all junior leaves a couple guys in the dust. 69 yards on this touchdown.
Nice.
Stars back on top, but once again, the Knights have an answer after a touchdown to tie it far. Flings one deep down the sideline for Dawson Phillip. Makes the grab, dives across the goal line. He's in. That's a 17-yard score. Southwood, they take the 28-21 lead with 8 minutes remaining in the second quarter, but the Stars not to be denied on this night. Down by 1 late in the first half. James Arnold runs through a defender at the goal line. Who says QBs aren't tough? South Adams retakes the lead. They would keep it from there. The Starfires are regional champs for the first time in 6 years. 48-35, your final.
That competitor mode. They have a really good offense. They're very well coached. Props to them for making it this far. They're a really good football team. but we showed we mean it when we say we're number one.
I can't put into words right now how cool this is. This group that I've grown so close to. These guys have started. Most of the guys have started 4 years now for me. I'm going to do with these guys and watching them just thrive through this and push through the adversity. Being down early and then just coming back, keep fighting. The senior class was absolutely unbelievable. We had guys get hurt, cramping the entire time, and everyone stepped up. So many guys you can name to be proud of. But third time in our history, regional champs. Couldn't be happier.
So the Stars are going to be at Lafayette Central Catholic next week. That's who Adams Central fell to last year in this same round.
Hey, congrats to Coach Mosher and company. Meanwhile, in Class 2A, Bishop Luers defeating Tipton tonight, 36-17. Your final. We were hoping to have highlights from this game. Unfortunately, it didn't happen, but we are happy to report that we'll have highlights next week, Prince, because the Knights will be playing at home against Pioneer in semi-state. Kick time still to be determined, but Bishop Luers will have a chance to go back down to Lucas Oil Stadium with the win next week.
Should be a good one out at Luers Field. We move on now to Class 3A, number 13, Concordia. They're making the long trip down to Indianapolis to take on top-ranked Bishop Chittard. The Trojans beat the Cadettes in the regional round at Zollner Stadium on their way to a state title last year. Chittard up 14-10 to start the second half. Brandon Davis finds Tyler Grossman, makes a great catch on the sideline for the Cadettes. A few plays later, Davis scrambling, looking for an open receiver, throws it right into the arms of Matthew Semler. That's a Trojan INT. Bishop Chittard going for it on fourth down, but they run into a wall of defenders on the ensuing drive. That Concordia defense showed up today.
Coming into this game, they hadn't allowed a point all postseason.
Cadettes get the possession back at the end of the third, though. Tommy Hannon fighting through defenders. He gets the first down for Chittard. That later leads to this goal line run by Matthew Coons. That's a Trojan touchdown. Chittard wins 28-18. Concordia, they finish a great season at 6-6.
All right, up in Kendallville, East Noble looking to claim its second consecutive regional championship in Class 4A. Knights welcoming the Marion Giants to town. Steve Hood's Marion Giants.
Shout out Steve Hood.
The Mecca, as he calls it, Marion, Indiana. East Noble gets the ball first. Knights wasting no time. Little double handoff action. Kanan Carrico gets the big gain into the red zone. That leads to an East Noble field goal. Knights take a 3-0 lead, but the Giants got going after that. Same score early second quarter. You see Malachi Simon get his team on the board. Marion takes a 7-3 lead. Later in the second, Giants going for it on fourth and goal. They fake out everybody, including the cameraman, as Kubi Jones, the quarterback, finds the end zone. It's 14-3 Marion. And they still weren't done, Prince. Still in the first half. Giants, they're known for their big play ability, and they show you why right here. Zymar Burnett breaks free from a couple tacklers. One man to beat, and that's no problem for Burnett. 51 yards on the score. That makes it 21-3 Marion. East Noble, they need some sort of spark here, and they get it before the half. Cole Schupbach connects with Nick Munson downfield. Munson marked out at the 5-yard line after a gain of 50. And a few plays later, the Knights capitalize. Another double handoff to Carrico. That one pulls East Noble back within 11. But they're partying at the Hood household tonight. Steve Hood's Marion Giants are moving on. 28-20 your final. East Noble ends the season with a 9-4 record.
All right, we move on to Class 5A now. Bishop Twenger making the trip down I-69 to Zionsville. Dwenger's first drive of the game. Bad snap here. Otto Kyler, he's going to pick the ball up, return it all the way to the residence. You just got to fall on that one if you're Brendan Lytle there.
Yep.
That's a 6-0 Eagles score early. After a lot of back and forth to start the second quarter, you're going to see Brendan Lytle connecting with our man, Rocco Sioka.
What a season he's had.
He is having a phenomenal season.
All college
coaches,
yep.
Look out for this guy. What a grab. Finally able to get the Saints on the board. They lead 7-6 at half. This one all tied up at 21 apiece with 6 seconds on the clock. And check this one out. A.J. Vinatieri. The name sound familiar?
Yep. Colts fans will know that name pretty well.
Yep. Adam Vinatieri Jr. hits a game-winning field goal in the closing seconds. Zionsville get the upset over Dwenger, 30-21. Your final there.
That one's got to hurt. Dwenger led that game 21-6 at one point.
Yeah.
Obviously, Zionsville scores a 24 unanswered there.
Yeah.
Finally, in 6A, Homestead not having too good of a time down in Westfield tonight. Shamrocks are pretty darn good. This game not final quite yet, but
started at 8 o'clock.
It's the clock is running, and this one is, well, I guess it's not technically running yet. It's 33, not 35. Quick math in my head. Anyway, Homestead season is going to end. Westfield 42, Spartans 9 late in the fourth quarter.
And it is time for our play of the night. And since we only have one team moving on,
Two teams moving on.
Well, only one that we were showing highlights of tonight, though.
Yeah.
It is time for your play of the nights. And Mr. Aiden Warner, Mr. Do-It-All, Mr. Ankle Breaker, Mr. Highlights, whatever you want to call him. Either way, it's a touchdown from James Arnold to Aiden Warner. That's a 69-yard touchdown as South Adams, they are on to semi-state for the first time in 6 seasons. Congrats to the Stars and Coach Mosier and company.
I'll be honest. I wrote the rest of that script for Caleb, who was down there at the game for us. There were so many touchdowns that South Adams scored. I had a hard time figuring out which one was which. I think that was the 69-yarder. They also had, I think, a couple 53-yarders. A lot of points in that game.
A lot of points
for South Adams. Tough offense to stop, and obviously they're riding that offense all the way into semi-state.
Yeah, Southwood, they hung with them pretty well, early on. And you had a feeling that was going to be the case. You thought, Southwood would be able to do that, but South Adams, they are just so good. And I think last year left a little sour taste in their mouth, and they weren't going to let what happened to Adams Central last year happen to them again this year. And they felt like they were the better team, and I think they went out and proved it.
Well, I mean, I was, as you know, I was down there yesterday for our Game of the Week preview, and they said as much. I mean, that loss last year against Adams Central, that upset has been the driving force for them all season long, even going back to the offseason. I mean, that is what has motivated them throughout the season to get back to this point and this time finish the job. Obviously, they still got a couple games left to win if they want to reach the ultimate goal, which is a state championship. That's their expectation down there this year. But obviously a big hurdle to clear and to finally win that regional championship for the first time since 2014. So congrats to Coach Mosier and company. And then Bishop Luers, going down to Tipton. Knights have struggled defensively all year long. Obviously, we know they can put up points, but to hold an explosive Blue Devils team to, what was it, 12 points in that game, 19 points, super impressive. They were up 30-3 at one point, I think, Coach Lindsay's team was. So, and they get a home game next week.
Just goes to show you how much it helps them playing in the SAC up here. The record may not show it all the time, but gosh dang it, they can be tough when you get to 2A playoff time for them.
I mean, what were they, 3-6 in the regular
something
season?
Like that.
I mean, they obviously
took their lumps.
Record-wise, you struggle, but you get healthy. You play competition that's a little bit more your size, more your speed, and we see just how good Bishop Luers is now.